For that, let's bring in Claire Glynn, the founding director of Forensic Investigative Genetic Genealogy at the University of New Haven. Thank you so much for joining us, Claire.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So prosecutors in this case say investigative genetic genealogy helped link DNA found at the crime scene to the defendant. Does this make it a slam dunk case for Morin's team?
Well, if the DNA is matching from the crime scene found on the victim's body to the defendant in this case, then it has to be explained of how his DNA got there. Are there other explanations for it? And it sounds from what I have read just from today of what has been spoken about in the courtroom today, that there's multiple different samples of his DNA all over the victim and in the surrounding area. So how else could you explain his presence of his DNA on the victim's body? Now, with regards to forensic investigative genetic genealogy, that's an investigative tool. That's a method where we will explore the genetic genealogy of this unknown DNA sample, and we'll build out family trees and build them forwards in time then after going backwards in time, first to identify the possible perpetrator of the crime. But we go back to the original forensic DNA profile to confirm that it is indeed that individual that was identified presumptively using forensic investigative genetic genealogy.
Claire, the defense is questioning the DNA match. They say it's not 100%. So on what grounds would they be able to successfully question such a scientific process?
Well, with the DNA, I believe there's multiple different samples, and a few of them they're stating are 100%. Whenever there's other samples that may not be giving 100% match, in kind of layman's terms, if you will, that's more so likely that all of the profile wasn't amplified, or we lost some markers in that DNA profile, either through it being a very low level sample or might have been contaminated with something else. But whenever you have multiple different DNA samples on different sites and different sources on the body and on the victim, that's giving a lot of strength to the evidence.
Investigative genetic genealogy is still a new tool. And as I was researching the story, I learned the first time it was used was in 2018, which is not that long ago, to identify the Golden State Killer. Since then, have you seen it embraced by more criminal investigators across the country?
Absolutely. Ever since April 25th, 2018, which was when it was first announced that they had found the Golden State Killer using this brand new tool, immediately after that, those investigators in that case, the prosecutor in that case, were inundated with calls from all across the United States and internationally asking them, how can we use this tool? Will you teach us how? And how can we implement it into our cold cases? In the time since 2018, it's estimated that there's at least 1,200 cases that have benefited from the use of forensic investigative genetic genealogy. Those are all cases of violent crimes, of homicides and sexual assaults. We're not allowed to use it on, lower level crimes, and also on unidentified human remains, or as the public may know them better as Jane and John Doe cases.
Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.